today we are going to have a session on reading comprehension, and I'll try to make you understand this point again, that reading comprehension is the most important part of any kind of entrance exam that you can think of. Right? Take GMAT, take CAT, take CUET, or any other entrance exam that you can think of, reading comprehension is not going to leave you. Right? And in order to crack a reading comprehension, you need to have a lot of skills. I keep on telling you on a daily basis to maintain a reading habit, but I don't know how many of you have started already doing it. Can you guys tell me how many of you have already started reading newspapers? Anyone? I'm not talking about in shorts, okay? I'm talking about reading a newspaper in depth. How many of you guys have started? Okay, Sneha. Who else? Come on. Be honest. Come on. Okay, Shania. Okay, very good. Neha, Ibrahim. Who else has started reading? Okay, Gaurang. Very good. If any one of you has started reading Aeon essays, then also I think it's one of the best magazines or websites that you can go through in order to prepare for any kind of an entrance exam. Fine, even if you're reading editorials, what I mean is you just need to have a reading habit. You need to read something in depth in order to develop a skill to crack a reading comprehension, right? So it's not that you guys will come from an English medium school and you guys will easily crack a reading comprehension, because coming from an English medium school won't help, right? There are a few skills which you have to develop in order to crack a reading comprehension in limited span of time. Right? How many approximate minutes do you get to crack an RC? I understand each and every entrance exam has a different span of time. It gives you a different time to crack an RC, but approximately how many minutes do you get to crack an RC? Approximate? Any approximate number of minutes? Okay, 12 to 15 minutes, 7 minutes. Come on, just a random guess from all of you. 10 minutes approximately. Exactly. Okay, correct. Yes, Dashar. Okay, Rajneesh. No, 20 is you won't be getting 20 minutes to crack a RC, unless you want to attempt just half of them. Okay, so yes, you get anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes in order to crack one reading comprehension, right? In case if you're preparing for exams such as CAT, GMAT, and so on. So you need to understand that it's very easy to read something. It's very easy to read a reading comprehension of probably 500 to 800 words, but it's not easy to understand those words in a limited span of time. Try to understand, if you're taking 10 minutes to crack a reading comprehension, when I mean cracking, I mean that you also need to solve the questions. So if you're taking 10 minutes to crack a reading comprehension, imagine how many minutes are you going to take to read that RC? Just 3 to 4 minutes, because the rest of the minutes you're going to give to solving the questions, right? So you just will have 3 to 4 minutes to read an article, and then you have to solve the questions on the basis of that article. So it's going to be very much tough for you in the examination to sit and read everything and to attempt questions on the basis of those articles, unless you have a strict reading habit, right? So please, I'll request you guys again to just, if you haven't started, just start reading from today itself. I can suggest you the techniques on how to read things. I can suggest you the sources, but then in the end, you have to, make efforts and start reading things, right? Start reading Economic Times, start reading The Hindu, start reading the Indian Express, start reading Aeon essays all daily. You have a lot of sources to read each and every, to read stuff from each and every genre, right? And again, I'll say reading from each and every genre is very important, because you cannot expect a reading comprehension to be asked from a specific genre in any kind of an entrance examination. You could face all the reading comprehensions on one particular genre, or you could face all the reading comprehensions from different genres. You cannot predict or expect anything. So you have to be ready and step out of your comfort zone and be ready to face any kind of a passage that you can look at on the screen, right? Be it economics, be it business, be it technology, be it science, be it biology, anything that you can think of, right? No, Sneha, you don't have to go through the whole newspaper, because I understand going through the whole newspaper and reading each and every detail would take a whole day, right? A whole day also won't be enough for you to read each and every line of the newspaper. So because I want you to, obviously I want you to have or develop a basic general knowledge. So what you can do is you can go through the headlines, you can go through all the headlines of the newspaper, and it won't take more than 15 minutes for you to go through all the headlines, right? After you're done with this, what you will do next is you'll pick one article ranging anywhere between 300 to 800 words, because this is the average length of any passage coming in various entrance examinations, such as GMAT, CAT, CUET, or any such exam, right? So my suggestion to you is pick any article ranging from 300 to 800 words, and then try to read that article, try to understand that each and every word of that article in depth. In case if you feel like out of those 300, 400 words, you're not able to understand 50, 60 words, what you're going to do is try maintaining a separate vocabulary notebook. Write down those 50 words which you were not able to understand from that article, and write down the meaning of those words. Sit with a dictionary, don't sit with a phone, right? Don't Google, sit with a physical dictionary in your hands, so that you don't get distracted, right? Sit with a physical dictionary, try to note down the meanings of, or the synonyms of, all those words that were difficult for you to understand. And once you have understood each and every word of that article, after knowing the meaning of those words, what you're going to do is you're again going to read that article in depth, because now you know the meaning of each and every word, and hence it is going to become easy for you to understand the article more properly, right? So don't stop till you have that article by heart. But when I say by heart, you don't need to mug that up. When I say by heart, it means that you need to understand that article in depth, because try to understand, when you're preparing yourself to crack a reading comprehension, you don't need to read things from the face value. You need to read things in depth, right? So sorry about this. So good evening, Shabir. So that's why I told, yes, definitely word power made easy will help a lot. It will help in vocabulary. So there are around 46 to 48 sessions in this book. And in case if you feel that you need to have a strong grasp in vocabulary, you can refer to this book, and you can just give 15 minutes to this book every day and just go through 15 to 20 words on a daily basis. It will be more than enough for you to complete the whole book in a span of 2 to 3 months, right? Okay, let's start. So for those who have recently joined the session, we are going to have a session on reading comprehension today, and we'll be typically concentrating on passages from the genre of technology, right? And I've taken this genre today because I think it's really very, very important with the perspective to the entrance examinations, also with the perspective to GDPIs and personal interviews, GDPIs and VAT sessions, and also some of the GK based examinations, in case if you will be having in any such entrance exam, because technology is such a topic which you cannot run away from. Let's say you could be asked a question on how do you think is the future of artificial intelligence. You have to face these types of questions in interviews anyhow, right? So we are going to have a look at a few reading comprehensions today, which are based on technology. I'll be giving you time to Yatharth, we are just going to have a look at a few reading comprehensions, nothing new, right? So even those who are attending the session for the first time, those whose batches have shifted, don't worry at all. We are starting this from scratch, and I'll be giving you enough time to read a passage. I'll be making you understand that passage thoroughly, and then and only then we'll be moving towards the questions, right? Are you guys ready? Just post a yes in the chat box so that I can know if you guys are ready and we can move on. Come on. So sorry. I want a yes from all of you. Tushar, the time limit approximately stays the same in, that obviously depends on the pattern, if at all it changes, but somewhere it stays the same. Okay, let's start. Again, just one last point before you start reading. Please stay interactive. Verbal is all about communication. You're not here to just read and solve questions. Just try to make this session as much interactive as you can. In case if at any moment you feel like asking me something, you feel like asking me anything from the passage, you can just ask without any hesitation, right? Come on, let's start. I'm going to show you a passage, read it, and once you're done reading, do let me know in the chat box. Is the passage visible to you all? Is the passage clearly visible? I hope the passage is visible clearly. Please just post a yes. Okay, great. Start reading the passage and do let me know once you're done. Right now, please don't rush. Obviously, I told you that you have to take 3 to 4 minutes to read a passage, but we need to concentrate on accuracy right now. So even if it takes 5 to 6 minutes for you to read the passage, don't worry. I'm sitting here, I'm waiting for you guys to read it thoroughly, right? Right now, concentrate on accuracy. Speed will be fine as and when we practice, right? Come on. यस यस गौरांग, ये जो फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट है उसमें एन ब्रैकेट में लिखा है, सो इट्स रिटन नो. नो लिखा है, राइट? इट्स अ नो. Okay, Anvi. Okay, Ravitej. Do let me know once you're done reading the passage, right? Okay, Venkateshwari. Okay, Manpreet. Okay, Vivek. Okay, Neha. Okay, Diksha. Okay, Bhavesh, Mansoori. Okay, Shubhanshu, Sahil. Okay. If I ask you, do you guys need more time? Do you guys need a few more seconds to read, or are you guys done? Are you guys done reading? All of you? Okay. If I ask you to frame a summary on this article or on this passage, how would you do it? Is anyone ready to make me explain the summary of this passage using mic? Anyone? Can anyone do it? Or if you want to make me explain the summary in chat box, please do. When I say summary, all you have to do is you have to make me understand, or you have to try to frame the summary, or basically you need to find out the main idea of this passage, and you have to write down that idea in one or two statements. Right? Can you guys do it? What is the whole passage about? Yes, sure, Mansoori. Just a minute. Yes, tell me. Yes, Mansoori, I'm waiting.
Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Good evening. Tell me.
Ma'am, as per my understanding, the paragraph is all about the implementation of the policies of the government services which are inaccessible to the poor.
Okay.
And the backbone of implementation of the policies will be the accountability. And one more word was there,
Empowerment.
empowerment.
Yes,
Yes,
very
ma'am. So
good.
in 2 to 3 lines, we can,
Correct.
and
Very
few
good.
of the examples are given.
Yes.
Mr. Amartya Sen, who is a Nobel laureate.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mansoori, for the explanation. Yes, all of you are correct. Improvement of the basic services. Yes, correct, Ekmanpreet. I think this passage is about the bond between the teacher and student. No, not exactly. It's a bond, but yes, it is one of the kind of examples given to you in the passage. Yes, Shabir, correct. Education system, not exactly the education system, Sneha. Technology is not enough. We also need to be educated. Okay, Gaurang. The connection should not be virtual. Okay, Shabir. Only technology cannot make immense changes in the society, but also some. Okay, fine, Priyansh. Okay, thank you so much for trying. Your attempts or efforts mean a lot to me. Don't hesitate in typing anything. Even if you're wrong, it's fine. I just want you guys to try. Right. So we'll just understand the passage in detail, and then we'll be moving towards the questions. Let's first concentrate on the first paragraph. Will a day come when India's poor can access is the technology based? It is completely technology based, Rajneesh, I feel. Mainly technology based, I could say. Will a day come when India's poor can access government services as easily as drawing cash from an ATM? Obviously, we all know how easy it has become in today's date to withdraw a cash from an ATM, right? So the question is, will a day come when India's poor people can access any kind of a government service as easy, in as much easy way as we can withdraw cash from an ATM? What is the full form of ATM? Guys, what is the full form of ATM? Without checking on Google, I want answers in 10 seconds in the chat box. The full form of ATM, anyone? Anytime teller, automatic teller, automated teller. Okay. You guys know it. Great. It's fun to ask such questions. No country in the world has made accessing education or health or policing or dispute resolution as easy as an ATM, because the nature of these activities require individuals to use their discretion in a positive way, right? So they're saying that no country in this world today has made accessing education or health as easy as ATM, because these things require a lot of efforts to to be considered, to not be considered as much easy as withdrawing cash from an ATM. But technology can certainly facilitate this in a variety of ways if it is seen as one part of an overall approach. But the evidence so far in education, for instance, is that just adding computers alone does not make education any better. So the first paragraph is basically, first of all, trying to ask us that will a day come when the poor people in India will be able to access the education in a very much easy way when we compare it with to withdrawing cash from an ATM. And then they're saying that technology definitely has answers, and it definitely says that it might try doing it. But the point is, no matter whatever computers technology is adding on a daily basis in our lives, or whatever technology we are getting, new softwares, or whatever updated things we are being getting, it is not going to make education any better. There are a lot of things to be added apart from the computers, right? Computers alone cannot make education any better. The dangerous illusion of technology is that it can create strong focus of topic is importance of technology along with it. Yes, correct, Tushar. Yes, we could say, before commenting on the tone, we have to go through the whole passage. We can only comment on the tone of the passage or the tone of the author if we have read each and every word of the passage, because tone does not lie in first a part of the introduction or in the conclusion, right? We have to go through the whole passage. So let's go through it once, and then we can decide if the tone is neutral, positive, or negative. But yes, the summary is correct, which you've mentioned. The second paragraph says, just the second paragraph says, the dangerous illusion of technology is that it can create stronger top-down accountability of service providers and implementation-intensive services within existing public sector organizations. One notion, one idea is that electronic management information system, which we call as EMIS, keep better track of inputs, and those aspects of personnel that are EMIS visible can lead to better services. So they're basically saying that there is an illusion there is an illusion that technology can create a stronger accountability, and it can be used for the betterment of the personals working in the public sector organizations. And they also have one notion in their minds, they also have one idea in their minds, that if any company uses the information system which keeps a track of the personnel working in the organization, then it can definitely lead the company to do much better. Right? A recent study examined attempts to increase attendance of auxiliary nurse midwife at clinics. Midwife is basically a person who helps women in delivery and in the birth of a child. So what they're saying is, a recent study examined attempts to increase attendance of these nurse midwives at clinics in Rajasthan, which involved high-tech time clocks to monitor attendance. So what they're saying is that second paragraph is concentrating on points that there is a kind of an illusion which we have, and we feel that technology can definitely make everything better by having a proper accountability of the personnel. And how are they going to have a better accountability? They are going to bring in different technological systems such as EMIS and ANMs and so on. And these systems will basically try to make sure that the attendance of the personnel is being recorded on a daily basis. And they're going to monitor the attendance on a daily basis. The study's title says it all: Bandits on the Corpse. Bandits on a corpse. E-governance can be just as bad as any other governance when the real issue is people and their motivation. There is one very important idea being explained by the author in this last line of the second paragraph. Can anyone make me explain this? What is the author talking about? Banded on a corpse. What does this phrase mean, or what is this phrase doing in this particular statement? Any idea? Correct, Gravit. Yes. Who else will try? Come on. What is this banded on a corpse? I hope you know what a corpse mean. What do you mean by a corpse? Exactly, dead body, right? So what they're saying is, doing all these things, setting up different information systems and setting up each and everything to track the attendance or to monitor the attendance is completely useless. What is the use of let's say you guys are coming and attending my session every day, right? Now, obviously, I'll take your attendance and I'll note down that these many students attended my session. But what is the use of you guys attending the session if you guys are not motivated to read or study, or not motivated to learn something new in the session? It will be of no use. You attending the session will be like banded on a corpse, right? Because you're just attending it in order to attend it. You're not actually motivated to learn the things which I'm trying to make you learn, right? So what they're trying to say is, it is yes, exactly, you could say present body, absent mind, right? So what they're saying is, you'll gain nothing by bringing in different technological systems unless the employees or the personnel themselves are motivated to work, right? That's what is given to you in the second paragraph. Till now, any questions, any doubts? Till now, any questions? I hope you guys are understanding things. Any questions, any doubts till now? Okay, let's move on to the third paragraph. The third paragraph says, for services to improve, the people providing the services have to want to do a better job with the skills they have. A study of medical care in Delhi found that even though providers in the public sector had much better skills than private sector providers, their provision of care in actual practice was much worse. Now, in the third paragraph, they're saying that skills are definitely important, but if you're having a skill and if you're not working on that skill, the skill will be of no use, right? It will go wasted. So what they're saying is, there was a study going on in Delhi which found out that a few people, let's say from the public sector, had much better skills than a few people from the private sectors, but the skills were of no use because they could not input those skills into their actual practice, right? So what they're trying to the message that they're trying to give here is, the people providing the services have to want to do a better job with the skills that they have. Having skills is definitely important, but wanting to use those skills is more important. Clear? Still not understood the the last line about e-governance. Tushar, okay, you're asking about the last statement of the second paragraph, the one which starts with the e-governance. It says e-governance can be just as bad as any other governance when the real issue is people and their motivation. It says that, Tushar, we can try as much as we can to make things going online and to use different technology, to use uh, let's say if you're using a system which is recording the attendance online instead of recording the attendance in a physical notebook, in a physical ledger. But the point is, e-governance or growing up with the technology will be of no use if the employees or the personnel will not be motivated to work. The end conclusion is, people should be motivated to work. If they are motivated, then definitely technology will be an add-on. But if we just have technology and we don't have motivation in the people at all, then the technology will not work at all on those people. Getting it, Tushar? Clear? Correct. Yes. Ravi Tej has said a phrase that we can bring horse to river bank, but we cannot make it drink water. Correct. Right. So we can do a lot of things. We can uh, bandits and cops. And Tushar, there is the connection between bandit on the corpse and e-governance. What they're saying is, bandit on a corpse means you're basically trying to heal a person who is already dead. So it says that it will be no, let's say you as a person is attending my session right now, but you're already absent-minded. You're not listening to anything. And I trying to explain you things will be like putting a band-aid on you, because you're already absent-minded. How would I try to heal you? Because you're not even listening to me. So the motive of the whole paragraph is just to make you understand that there's no point in trying to bring in different technological systems unless you yourself are motivated to do so, right? Exactly, correct. Not motivated will not help in e-governance. Clear? Okay, so we were in the fourth paragraph. Let's start with this. In implementation intensive services, the key to success, is it phrase is written for midwife? Where is midwife? No. This was the midwife basically was just an example to uh, uh, let you know that there was another system which there was another technological system which came into work, but it did not help at all because the people were not motivated. So these were just a few examples on how technology has grown. Right, Rajneesh? Okay. Fourth paragraph says, in implementation intensive services, the key to success is face-to-face interactions between a teacher, a nurse, a policeman, and extension agent and a citizen. This relationship is about power. Amartya Sen's report on education in West Bengal had a supremely telling anecdote in which the villagers forced the teacher to attend school, but then when the parents went off to work, the teacher did not teach, but forced the children to massage his feet. As long as the system empowers providers over citizens, technology is irrelevant. This whole paragraph basically says that there are a lot of implementation intensive services where there has to be a face-to-face interaction, right? So if there is no face-to-face interaction in the implementation intensive services, it won't work. It is not going to work. No matter whatever you try or whatever you do, it is not going to help. And they're trying to make you understand this point with the help of an example by saying that there was a report on education in West Bengal wherein villagers forced a teacher to teach the students, but when the parents of the students were out for the work, what the teacher did was the teacher made the students massage his or her feet, right? So the point is they need they need motivation to work, right? If try to understand this last line of the paragraph, it is very important for you to understand. As long as the system empowers providers over citizens, technology is irrelevant. Because in even today's date, more power is given to the providers than to the citizens. If you'll be giving more power to the providers than you give to the citizens, the technology is definitely not going to work. You need to make sure that citizens are satisfied by the services. Then and only then, technology will be an add-on service to them. Clear? Till here, I hope no doubts. Any questions still here? Any doubts still here? Are things understandable? Anything? Just keep posting a yes if you don't have any doubts. Keep posting a yes so that I can understand if I have to move on. Right? Okay. Come to the last second paragraph. It says the answer to successfully providing basic services is to create systems that provide both autonomy and accountability. Okay, Bhargav, right? So now what they're saying is the answer to all these things, the answer to, providing successful services or making citizens happy or making citizens satisfied, we just have two things which we need to follow. The first thing is autonomy, which means freedom. The second is accountability, right? So we need to give freedom to people so that they can work in their own ways. But along with freedom, we also need to give them accountability. We also need to give them responsibility so that they themselves feel very much responsible to work. Right? So they need two things in order to make a service a successful one. The first thing is accountability. The second thing is autonomy. Right? In basic education, for example, in basic education, for instance, the answer to poor teaching is not controlling teachers anymore. The key is to hire teachers who want to teach and let them teach, expressing their professionalism and vocation as a teacher through autonomy in the classroom. Right? So let's say you have two teachers in front of you. The first teacher is being forced to enter the classroom and to teach, and the method of teaching, or we could say the process of teaching is being forced on that teacher. So first thing, the teacher is forced to teach. Second thing, the process on how the teacher is going to teach is also being forced. So he's not having any accountability and he's not having any autonomy as well. the process through which we want to make this work, or we want to make this successful, is only possible in two ways: by giving the person or the teacher autonomy, freedom, and by giving the person, the teacher, accountability, right? So the key is to hire the teachers who want to teach, hire only those teachers who are motivated to teach, who are interested to teach, who want to teach, and let them teach their own way, right? Let them express their professionalism, let them try to control the class in their own way, let them have autonomy in the classroom, right? And this is just the example of education. They are just trying to prove the point that this is true in each and every part of the profession, right? The example of the teacher is just to make you explain a broader picture. So this autonomy has to be matched with accountability for results, not just narrowly measured through test scores, but broadly for the quality of the education that they provide. So basically, the last second paragraph is just trying to concentrate on these 2 points, that if at all you want to solve all these problems given to you in the first 4 paragraphs, then all you need to do is you need to give people accountability and autonomy. Hire only those people who are motivated to work and let them work their own ways. Give them autonomy. Right? Last paragraph says a recent study in Uttar Pradesh showed that if somehow all civil service teachers could be replaced with contract teachers, the state could save $1 billion a year in revenue and double student learning. So they're basically trying to say that when you hire civil teachers, they'll be so useless to you that they're not going to work. Instead of the civil teachers, if you hire contract teachers, then they'll know how much amount of work they have to finish off in a limited span of time, because that's what a contract is, right? Whenever you're given a contract, you're also given the amount of work to be done in the amount of time which is required to be done, right? Which is required for that work to be done. So if the civil service teachers were replaced with these contract teachers, then the state would have saved a lot of $1 billion and also doubled the student learning, right? Just the additional autonomy and accountability of contracts through local groups, even without complementary system changes and information and empowerment, led to that much improvement, right? You just need to add these 2 things, accountability and autonomy, without adding any additional thing. Even if you're adding just these 2 things, you're going to have a huge success in any kind of profession that you can think of, especially, I mean, in the implementation intensive services, right? The first step to being part of the solution is to create performance information accessible to those outside of the government. If at all you disclose the information, or you disclose the performance of these inside people to the outside citizens, then definitely there is going to be a huge successful practice in the economy, or we could say in all these professions, because then the people working in the inside of the organization will be fearful of what kind of work they are doing and what kind of work they're showing to the outside citizens, right? So in a way, there has to be the transparency, and all the citizens have the right to know what's going inside a particular public sector organization. Clear? What are contract teachers? Unnati, contract teachers are basically contract employees are basically the employees who are being given a certain amount of work to be finished in a certain amount of time. So let's say you're a teacher on a contract basis. You'll be told that you have to teach 15 chapters to these many students in, let's say, 1 month, right? And because of this contract, you'll know the amount of work that you have to finish in a limited span of time, and hence the learning will be the student will learn all those things in just a span of 1 month, and also you'll be motivated to do so because you know what you have to do or what you have to teach in that span of time, right? Exactly, Sneha. We could say not permanent. I was just watching your flow and meaning of the passage from your mouth and with your smile and the rest of the passage. Thank you, Shabir. Okay, so anything that was not understandable from this passage? Any such statement that you still have a doubt on? Anything that you did not understand from this passage? Or can we move ahead and solve the questions? I would just want to tell you one thing, that you're going to have an advanced class um, on the basis of all these topics. The timing will be 8 to 9 p.m. tomorrow. So in case if you want to attend the advanced class, please let us know. There's a huge gap in services provided and services delivered as motivation is lacking. I think it's discursive in nature, the tone. Yatharth, yes. Instead of saying the tone is negative, we could say the tone is concerning, right? They're really concerned on how things are going to take place in future, and they're also coming up with a solution. They're also coming up with a positive solution that you can try providing autonomy and accountability to these people in order for things to work successfully, right? Yes, you just need to write a mail on the support ID, and you can just ask for the advanced class. You'll get it. You'll get to attend it, right? Okay. I hope you don't have any more doubts. So I'll just show you the questions. Yes, author has also given some examples, correct. So I'll show you the example questions. I'll tell this to you again, that please don't rush. Try to understand each and every question very, very carefully, right? Very carefully, and then and only then move towards the options, right? Come on. Gaurang, I was just saying that you're going to have an advanced class tomorrow from 8 to 9 p.m. Wherein you'll be, I mean, the things that I'm teaching you right now are basic. If you want to take a step ahead and want things to be learned in an advanced mode, then you can attend the class session tomorrow. The timing will be 8 to 9 p.m. All you have to do is you just have to drop a mail on the support ID. Okay, Anvi. So, Anvi, the meaning is, it basically, in this particular paragraph, it means a story, something which is really, really, breathtaking, exciting. What are the timings? Timings are 8 to 9 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. The answers. Saraswati correct, Shabir reattempt, Unnati correct, Ravitej correct. Mansuri, right now I can tell you about the tomorrow's session. I cannot commit the session if they're happening on a regular basis, but as far as I know, you are having a session tomorrow. Yatharth correct. Rajneesh correct, Venkateshwari correct, Gravit correct, Shriram correct, Sneha reattempt, Bal correct, Yatharth correct, Bhargav correct, Shania correct, Vivek reattempt, Ravitej, Bhavesh, Mahima correct, Shubhanshu reattempt, Parul reattempt, Priyansh reattempt, Sneha PP correct, Sneha Biswas reattempt, Saurav reattempt, Priyansh reattempt, Rajneesh correct, Neha correct, Mansi reattempt. Okay, let's have a look. You're being asked to find out the main purpose of this passage. Try to understand the main purpose neither lies in the introduction, nor does it lie in the conclusion. It lies in the whole passage. All you need to do is you need to find out the main idea or the main purpose of the passage. And for that, you need to go through the whole passage and not one single paragraph. Right? Can you please provide and tell what do I need to provide, Bhavesh? Entire syllabus of verbal. Okay, you guys are going to get time. I'll give you time, and I'll give you last 10 minutes to ask any such questions that you feel like, right? Please feel free to ask any such questions in the last 10 minutes. Okay. So let's talk about the main purpose. If we try to find out the main purpose, the whole passage is trying to tell you that first of all, the passage is suggesting a problem, right? They're saying that there are a lot of problems in these organizations wherein no matter whatever kind of technology they bring, the services are not going to improve unless the employees or the personnel are having motivation. And then they're giving a solution to this problem. And the solution is based on two elements. The first element is accountability, and the second element is autonomy. And this is the main idea around which the whole passage revolves. Now, when we talk about the fourth option, it says critique the government's involvement in educational activities and other implementation intensive services. Do you really think that the passage is criticizing or critique, is it really trying to make a comment on the government's involvement in the whole passage? Is the whole passage talking about the government's involvement? No, it's not talking about the government's. It might have talked about the government's involvement in a few lines, but the purpose is not to make you understand or not to critique the government's involvement. It is about giving a problem and suggesting a solution. And what is the solution? Bring accountability and autonomy. And then and only then you'll be facing a successful service, right? So fourth option is out of context when we talk about the main purpose, right? Third option, it is talking about analyzing the shortcomings of government appointed nurses. Again, are we just talking about nurses? Nurses is too much of a narrow option or a narrow word to be used here. We're talking about the main idea. We're not talking about nurses, right? So again, third option goes out. Second option, find a solution to the problem of poor service delivery in education by examining different strategies. What kind of strategies are shown in the passage? There are no different strategies given by the author in any of the paragraphs, right? So, and the solutions which are given to you, those two elements are not strategies. Those are just the elements given to you as solutions. Those are not the strategies, right? So again, second option goes out. First option says that the main purpose of the passage is to argue that some types of services can be improved. Yes, some types of services are given or shown to you as examples in the paragraph. There are examples given about education. There are examples given about nurses, hospitals, and so on. So they're arguing that some types of services can definitely be improved by providing two things: by providing autonomy and accountability, by providing independence, freedom, and accountability. That's what the whole passage is concentrating on, right? So, I mean, this question was really easy for you to crack because the rest of the three options would have been very, very narrow for you to consider as a main purpose or the main idea of the passage. Talking about just education or talking about just nurses is not going to lead you to the main purpose of the passage. Getting it clear? Is it okay now, or you're still having any doubts or questions? Any doubts, any questions yet? Okay, let's move on to the next question. If you guys don't have any doubts, again, my request to you is please post a yes. It will make me happy. It will make me satisfied that you guys are learning things or you guys are understanding things. Just a yes expected from all of you, right? Okay, question number 2. Come on. Okay, in case if you haven't taken a screenshot of the passage, please do, or just take a picture of the passage. Come on. Because the next question is based on a particular paragraph. You have to go through that paragraph, or you have to go through a few lines of that paragraph, and then you have to come up with an answer. Come on. Question number 2. Saraswati, correct. I'll make things easy for you. Just a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anvi, correct. Ravitej, correct. Bhavesh, correct. Very good, guys. Come on. Shriram, correct. Venkateshwari, correct. Unnati, reattempt. Gravit, reattempt. Akshat, correct. Neha, correct. Mahima, correct. TN Partha, correct. Mansuri, correct. Rajneesh, reattempt. Unnati, correct. Parul, correct. Shania, reattempt. Shubhanshu, reattempt. Bal, correct. Shania, reattempt. Gravit, correct. Okay, let's have a look. I think I've already made you understand this phrase that putting a bandit on a corpse means they're trying to say, or they're trying to give a message that coming up with different technological systems will be of no use if the employees will not have motivation or they're not motivated to work, right? So unless the employees or people are motivated to work, there's no point in bringing new technologies. Now, on the basis of the passage or in the context of the passage, we are asked to infer that the title bandage on a corpse suggests what, right? Yes, Tushar, correct. Yatharth, correct. The first option says the nurses who attended the clinics were too poorly trained to provide appropriate medical care. First of all, I'll just try to make you understand this point that a lot of entrance examinations these days are trying to ask you such a question which is based on the context of the passage. It is written, it is mentioned in the very first few words of the question in the context of the passage. And whenever it is given to you, you need to choose an option which is not literally based on that particular phrase, but which suggests an idea or which is related to the context of the whole passage. So when we talk about bandits on a corpse, we don't have to literally talk about this phrase. We don't have to literally talk about nurses. We need to cover the overall idea behind which this phrase is suggested to you, right? So I think it was pretty much easy for you to choose a correct answer in this question, because when we see the first, third, and the fourth option, all three are mentioning things about nurses and clinics. We don't have to literally choose an answer which is talking about or which is concentrating on nurses or clinics. We need to choose an option which is concentrating on the broader picture. Getting it? And broader picture, which means it says that the electronic monitoring system, which means the technology, is a superficial solution to a serious problem. You're not going to go anywhere by putting a bandit on a corpse. You're not going to go anywhere by using technology on people who are not at all motivated to work, right? So what they're saying is it is just a superficial solution. What do you mean by a superficial thing? A fake thing, right? A useless thing, a thing which is not going to work at all. So what they're saying, what they're suggesting by this phrase through this phrase is the electronic monitoring system or the technology is just a fake solution. It is just a superficial solution to a serious problem. And the correct solution to this problem has to be the motivation, not technology. Clear? Is it clear? Do you want me to make you understand the rest of the options, or I hope the idea is clear? Because first, third, and the fourth option are talking literally about nurses. We are going to straight away eliminate them because we don't have to talk about nurses. We have to talk about the idea suggested behind this particular phrase. And the bigger idea is given to you or shown to you in the option number 2. Clear? Okay. Let's move on to the third question. I'll again tell you, please don't hesitate in asking me any silliest doubt that you have to, right? No one is going to judge you here. Just ask whatever comes up in your mind, right? I'll be more than happy to solve all your doubts even 10 times if you want. Come on. Question number 3, right in front of you. Gravit, correct. TN Partha, reattempt. Saraswati, correct. Anvi, reattempt. Bal, correct. Parul, correct. Bhavesh, reattempt. Rajneesh, reattempt. Bhargav, correct. Unnati, correct. Saurav, reattempt. Venkateshwari, reattempt. TN Partha, reattempt. TN Partha, correct. Vivek, reattempt. Neha, reattempt. Rajneesh, correct. Mansuri, reattempt. Shubhanshu, reattempt. Mansi, reattempt. Shriram, correct. Yatharth, reattempt. Mansi, correct. Bhavesh, correct. Come on, last few seconds. Mansuri, correct. Priyansh, correct. Priyansh, reattempt. Shania, reattempt. Saurav reattempt, Sneha reattempt, Gaurang correct, Tushar correct. Okay, let's have a look, guys. I think most of you got confused between the two options in this particular question, and I understand those two options were really tricky for you to, evaluate as far as this question is concerned. The question says the author questions the use of monitoring systems in services that involve face-to-face interaction between service providers and clients because such systems, right? Now try to understand that, is the passage saying that the services or um, or let's say face-to-face interactions, or let's say technology improves the skills of people? Is anywhere clearly evident from the passage that these things or these face-to-face interactions or any such thing is helping people to develop or improve skills? No, it simply says that skills are not going to help if people are not motivated. They are not saying that these things are going to improve their skills and not improve their motivation. They are saying that even if these people are having skills, those skills will be of no use if they don't have motivation, if they're not motivated. So nowhere in the whole passage is this evident that anything or any such technology or any such face-to-face interaction is going to improve their skills. There is no talk about improvement of the skills. Getting it? Are you guys clear? So the fourth option talks about the improvement of the skills. Nowhere in the whole passage is this thing evident that face-to-face interaction is going to improve the skill. Definitely it is not going to increase the motivation, but it is also not going to improve the skills. Skills are already present in those employees, and the message that the author is trying to give you is that even though the skills are present, the skills will be of no use if they are not motivated to work, right? And that's why the correct answer has to be option number 3, because it says that the author questions the use of monitoring systems and services that involve face-to-face interaction because service providers and clients, between service providers and clients, because such systems do not improve services that need committed service providers, right? These types of technological systems or monitoring systems are not going to improve the services in case of implementation intensive services, right? In case of implementation intensive services, they need face-to-face interaction. And the author is questioning the use of monitoring systems in these kind of services because they are not going to improve the services. Getting it? Yes or no? First and second option were as such going to get eliminated. First option talks about something being ineffective because they're managed by the government when it is completely out of context. Second option says that these systems are not effective in the public sector. The author has nowhere told that such kind of systems are effective in the public sector and not effective in the they're not effective in the public sector and they're effective in the private sector. He has not tried to compare both these sectors. So first and second option were getting eliminated at the very first glance, right? Yes, Yatharth, correct. Option third and fourth were very much close, but you just needed to understand the literal meaning. I told you once in my previous sessions that either the paper setter will play with words or the paper setter will play with logic. I have framed a lot of passages in my lifetime, and the trick that I use to confuse students between the similar options is I try to play with words, because I know if I start playing with logic, the intelligent students are going to understand it sooner or later, right? But when I start playing with words, it will become very, very difficult for them to evaluate them in a limited span of time. That's what the paper setter has done here as well. He has played with words. He says improving the skills. He talks about improving the skills. And you'll suddenly start feeling that, yes, something was being talked about skills in this particular passage. But you need to go into in depth and you need to understand each and every word of this option to understand that it is not something which is actually given to you in the passage. When you read the word skills, your subconscious mind just tried to think that, I have just read something about skills in the passage, and then it has to be the correct answer. But you also needed to understand that nowhere in the passage the author talks about improving the skills. The skills were already present. The author talks about not skills not being used or skills getting wasted because of the lack of motivation. Clear? Any doubts? Any questions now? Any doubts? Any questions till here? Till this third question? Okay. I feel like I have to literally tell you after each and every question to post a yes. Okay, anyway, chalo, let's have a look at the fourth question of this passage. According to the author, service delivery in Indian education can be improved in all of the following ways except. So try concentrating on the word except and then try to choose the correct answer. Come on. Saraswati, correct. Very good. Come on. Sneha, there is no fifth option here. Gaurang, correct. Venkateshwari, reattempt. Bhavesh, correct. Shubhanshu, correct. Sneha, correct. Unnati, correct. Gravit, correct. Akshat, correct. TN Partha, correct. Shania, reattempt. Mansi, correct. Saurav, correct. Priyansh, reattempt. Vivek, correct. Mahima, correct. Mansuri, reattempt. Neha, reattempt. Parul, correct. Ravitej, correct. Rajneesh, correct. Venkateshwari, correct. Yatharth, correct. Tushar, correct. Come on, last 15 seconds for you all. Shania, reattempt. Priyansh, reattempt. Shri Ram, reattempt. Okay, let's understand this. The question asks you that according to the author, service delivery in Indian education system can be improved in all of the following ways except. So according to the author, which of the following option is not useful in improving the Indian education system and improving the service delivery in the Indian education system? When we talk about the first option, use of technology, the author is nowhere told that technology is harmful or technology is disruptive. He says that definitely you need technology, but technology will be of no use if people won't be motivated. So he's not denying the use of technology. He's just denying the technology getting, he's just basically saying that technology will be getting wasted if the people won't have motivation. So use of technology is definitely one of the points which the author wants to convey. And he wants it, he wants technology to be used as an element in order to improve the Indian education system. So it gets eliminated. We need to choose an option which is not useful for the author to improve the system, right? Second option, access to information on the quality of teaching. Definitely, this is already given to you in the whole passage that quality of teaching is very, very important. So we'll again eliminate this. Recruitment of motivated teachers. Again, a very, very important point discussed in the whole passage that we need to recruit motivated people and not demotivated ones. Elimination of government involvement. Whereas the author said that we need to eliminate the government's involvement. What do you mean by elimination? Cutting out something completely. Has the author anywhere told you in the passage that we need to cut the government's involvement completely from the education system? No, nowhere the author suggests. Exactly, eliminating means you cannot say boycotting, but boycott basically means to bar someone, to restrict someone. Eliminating means simply, I mean, it could definitely be a general synonym, but eliminating is much of a liberal word than boycott, right? Okay, any doubts, any questions? We could say removal, exactly. Okay, let's move on to the last question of this passage. I hope the question is visible. Come on, try to solve this. The answer was, Neha, elimination of the government's involvement, right? The author in the whole passage is nowhere talking about the complete removal of the government's involvement. Getting it? So it has to be the correct answer. I hope you don't have any doubts or questions in this. Okay. Yes, Yatharth. I know I shifted the question. Come on. Try now. Try to understand this question very, very carefully. The question says, which of the following, if true, right? If true. So if any of these options were true, which of the options would undermine or weaken the passage's main argument? Yes, Shriram, definitely. Just a minute. Shriram has a doubt. Yes, Shriram.
Ma'am, in the last paragraph, it talks about employing contract teachers than regular teachers.
Yes.
It is a thing. It is a thing that government should do, right? So, in a way, author talks about the government involvement here. So, can we not say that he is not? It's not that he is completely denied that government involvement, but here it's somewhere it's coming.
Yes, we could say, in fact, the point which you mentioned, Shriram, is one of the points which is supporting us to choose that particular answer. Because if the author says that the government should, take an action by replacing all civil service teachers with contract teachers, then definitely we cannot say that the author is supportive of the elimination of the government, which again makes us choose the fourth option as an answer. So yes, we could definitely.
No, ma'am. What I'm saying is that government is not doing this. So if the government is not doing this thing, that it is not employing contract teachers.
Oh, no,
So
Shyam. The author is not blaming the government at all for not taking the step. The author is just trying to point out or just trying to suggest a solution on the basis of a particular research. This was just a research or a study conducted in the UP. So the author is not blaming the government at all. He's just trying to come up with a certain solution on the basis of a particular study. He is
okay.
not, yeah. Okay. Which of the following, if true, would weaken the passage's main argument? Saraswati, correct. Very good. You need to choose an option which would weaken the main argument of the passage, which would go against the main argument of the passage, if at all it was true. Tushar, reattempt. Sneha, reattempt. Mahima, reattempt. Bhargav, correct. Shubhanshu, reattempt. Vivek, reattempt. Mansi, correct. It's a tricky, I think it's the trickiest question out of all the 5 questions. So it's okay, take your time. You could have gotten confused between these 2 similar options, but take your time and choose the answer. Rajneesh, reattempt. TN Partha, reattempt. Neha, reattempt. Shania, reattempt. Yatharth, correct. Dheeraj, reattempt. Venkateshwari, reattempt. Bal, reattempt. Bhavesh, correct. Come on, last 20 seconds. Mansuri, reattempt. Gaurang, reattempt. Ravitej, reattempt. Shania, reattempt. Unnati, reattempt. Dheeraj, correct. Venkateshwari, reattempt. Tushar, reattempt. Rajneesh, reattempt. Gaurang, reattempt. Okay. Let's have a look. Shriram, reattempt. Sure, come on. Let's have a look now. You need to basically, first of all, understand what the main argument of the passage is, because unless you know the main argument, you won't be able to choose an option which is going against the argument. So in order to choose an option which is going against something, you first of all need to know what that something is, right? So what is the main argument? The main argument is that we have a problem in front of us, that technology is just not helping unless the teachers or the people are motivated. And the solution to this is we need two things. We need empowerment, and we need accountability, and we need autonomy. So we need to provide responsibility as well as freedom to the employees or the personnel in a particular organization for them to carry out a service successfully. Now, last option says, if it were proven that increase in autonomy of service providers leads to an exponential increase in their work ethic and sense of responsibility. If this was true, would it have strengthened the main argument or would it have weakened the main argument? It would have strengthened, right? It would have supported the main argument, because the passage itself says that if you try to increase the autonomy, if you try to give more freedom, then definitely it will lead to an exponential increase in their work ethic, right? So this is something which supports the main argument, hence it gets eliminated, because we need to choose an option which weakens the main argument, right? Let's talk about the third option. If it were proven that service providers in the private sector have better skills than those in the public sector, it is an alien option to you when we talk about this particular question, because the main argument is nowhere related to the private sector or to the public sector. It relates with the problems which the organizations are facing due to technology, not due to technology, but due to the lack of motivation, due to the lack of empowerment, due to the lack of responsibility and autonomy, right? It is nowhere talking about private sector. It is nowhere talking about the comparison between private sector and public sector. So this again goes out. It is alien. Try to understand. I'll again tell you that you do not need to choose an alien option when it comes to undermining a particular argument. You need to choose an option which goes against that argument. The paper setter might try to confuse you by putting alien options in such a question, but you do not have to get confused. Try to eliminate the alien options and try to choose an option which is going opposite to the argument. Clear? Yes, Bhavesh, you're asking something? Okay. When we talk about every passage question should be answered. Yes, Bhavesh, definitely. Every question should be answered in the context of the passage. The passage is God for you, right? Whatever is mentioned to you in the passage is true. What do you do for a living? I'll talk about it later on, Shabir. Okay, so till now, any doubt in the third or the fourth question? I hope no doubts in the third. But ma'am, isn't this related to the contract? Sneha, even if it is related, which option are you talking about, Sneha? Are you talking about the third option, private sector and public sector? No, even if this point is connected to a particular topic from the passage, is it connected to the main purpose or the main argument? Try to understand that you might find an option which is true according to the passage, but you do not need to concentrate on one single narrow topic. You need to concentrate on the main argument, because the question is based on the main argument. The question is not asking to choose an answer on the basis of a particular topic. It is asking you to choose an answer on the basis of the main argument. Clear? Exactly, it's not covering the motive. I think I missed out on a few questions. Just a minute. Okay, Yatharth. If Yatharth has asked a really interesting question, that if it was given if false instead of if true, then the meaning of the whole question would have changed. You would have to choose an option which would support or strengthen the whole argument. Try to understand, if there are two negatives here, then it will become positive, right? There is one positive and one negative, and hence we'll weaken it. If there were two negatives, we would have supported, we would have chosen an option which would have supported the argument. Clear? Okay. Now we have already gone through the third and the fourth option. And I hope you don't have any doubts in the third and the fourth option. Let's talk about the second option. The second option says, if absolute instead of moderate technological surveillance is exercised over the performance of service providers. Now, tell me one thing, is the author talking about a complete or a total technological surveillance exercising over the performance? The author is not concerned about the amount of technological surveillance being put on the personnel. He's concerned about the lack of motivation. He's not saying that don't bring technology. He says that definitely you should bring technology, but the question is, are you bringing motivation as well? Technology without motivation is useless. So second point, because it is trying to concentrate completely on technology, it will lead you nowhere. It is again out of context. It is not contradictory. It is out of context. Because the author's main argument is not about, yes, Mahima, definitely. You want to ask me a doubt using mic, or you want to ask it in the chat box, any which ways you're comfortable. Okay, just a minute, I'll unmute you. Yes, Mahima.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you for unmuting me. So my question is like, in the second last paragraph, the author says the answer to poor teaching is not controlling teachers more. So putting absolute surveillance, wouldn't it mean the same that they are controlling teachers more? They are making them like having autocratic control over them, and hence it would prove this
So
point.
see, Mahima, yeah, it's a very nice question. Mahima, exactly, when you're undergoing a technological surveillance doesn't exactly mean to force someone. So let's say I'm teaching, right? I'm teaching to you all, and there is one situation wherein I'm being forced to teach, and I'm not at all motivated to teach you all. I don't have an interest in teaching. So there is a situation when I'm being forced to teach you all, and there is another situation when I'm definitely motivated to teach you. I want to teach you with a full-on interest, but a person from, let's say, the organization is keeping a surveillance on me throughout the whole session. So there is a difference between keeping a technological surveillance and forcing someone to undergo a particular activity. Getting it? I hope you're understanding the difference, Mahima. Is it clear? So there is definitely a difference. And moreover, when we talk about, your point might be true, but when we talk about, again, the main argument, it is not exactly revolving around this technological surveillance. We need to weaken the argument. What was the main argument? The argument of the author was not that try to reduce the amount of technological surveillance, or try to reduce the amount of technological monitoring systems being used. His argument was, even if you're keeping the technology, try to keep motivated people in the organization by giving them more and more empowerment, by giving them autonomy, by giving them accountability, right? Now, if the author is suggesting people or the government to give people more autonomy in order to bring successful results, and if option one says that empowerment will in fact lead to rigged performance results, isn't this option clearly going against the author's argument? Because author says that increasing the amount of empowerment will lead to better results. And option one says increase in the empowerment of services will lead to rigged results. Rigged is completely opposite of better, right? Rigged is basically a synonym to a bad result. So this is clearly going against the author's main argument. If giving more empowerment, giving more autonomy will result in bad results, then the whole motive or the whole purpose of the passage is useless to you all. Getting it, guys? Yes or no? Rajneesh, again, the author is basically trying to say that giving an autonomy doesn't mean reducing the amount of technology or not using monitoring systems. By giving autonomy, the author says that just let them work their own way. You can definitely use different monitoring systems to have a full attendance or to have a look at their attendance. But the kind of process that they're going through while undergoing a particular activity does not have to be controlled. Just let them have their own way to teach or to educate people or to do any such thing. Right? So there is a difference between using a technology and giving autonomy. Giving autonomy to someone or giving freedom to someone does not necessarily mean not using monitoring systems on that person. Clear? If you are a boss in an organization and 100 employees are working under you, you will definitely want to keep a technological surveillance watch on them, because you do not want any disruptions in your work. But that doesn't mean you're not giving those workers to work using their full freedom or using their full autonomy. You have definitely allowed to let them work in whatever way they want, but in the end you're just having a look at them if everything is going fine, or if the results are going in a worse condition or not. Right? Any questions, any doubts now? I hope the yes, sure, Shriram. I'm so sorry, I did not look at your message. I'll unmute you. Yes, Shriram.
Ma'am, the fourth para, last line, the author says that as long as the system empowers providers over citizens, technology is irrelevant. So from this, we understand that the author doesn't want the system to empower the service providers, right?
I'm sorry, you were talking about which line? As long as, where is this statement?
Fourth para, madam.
Fourth
Fourth para, last line.
Yeah. No. So basically, he says that as long as you empower someone, as long as this statement is completely different to what we are understanding. This statement says that many a times we give more power to teachers than to students. Many a times we give more power to the providers than to the citizens who are receiving the service. So if we do this, the point of using the technology will be irrelevant, because if the teachers or if the providers are not motivated to provide the service, the technology is not going to work at all. So the author is not saying that technology should be eliminated. The author is saying technology won't be useful. Technology would be irrelevant if the providers are not at all motivated to provide the service.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just saying that the author is having a view that just empowering providers will not help, right? If they are not motivated.
No, empowering someone is to motivate them, giving them more power. The meaning of this statement is, as long as the system empowers providers over citizens, technology is irrelevant. So as long as the system is giving more power to providers than to citizens, the technology will be of no use. So let's say, for example, the technology is giving more power to a teacher than to a student. And if, let's say, assume the teacher is not motivated to teach at all, what will happen? Because the teacher is having more power right now, he or she will try to, just ignore the teaching and just try to, shift the focus of the students to something else, right? So the point being discussed here is technology won't be useful at all, or no monitoring system will be useful if you're trying to give more power to people who are not motivated to work. Getting it? There's no point in providing more power to people who are not motivated to work at all. If at all you're giving more power to such kind of people, they are going to misuse the power. Clear, Shriram?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So you're just trying to tell that empowering unmotivated persons is not helpful.
Exactly. So empowering demotivated people won't be useful, and technology also won't be useful in such cases, because technology will be irrelevant. The people who are demotivated are as such not going to work, even if you have 100 monitoring systems over them.
Yes, ma'am. Now, when we come to the first option.
Last question.
Yes, ma'am. In this question, the question we are discussing, first option,
Yes.
it says that empowerment of service provider, it talks negatively about the empowerment of service providers, which we just discussed, that empowerment of service providers anyhow will not help for unmotivated. That is being talked about, right?
No, but the main argument of the author is to empower people. Okay, tell me one thing. What is the problem suggested by the author? The problem is that technology is not helping because people are not staying motivated. And the solution to that is, what is the solution that the author has given to this problem?
Giving them autonomy and making them accountable.
Exactly. Giving them more autonomy means giving them more power, giving them more accountability. So you are talking, the problem is you're talking about a specific statement, which is an exception to the main argument. You're not talking about the main argument. You're trying to talk about the exception to the main argument. It was just a small part of the whole passage. It was not the main argument of the whole passage. But here, what we need to do is we need to weaken the main argument. Getting it, Shriram?
Okay, I got it.
Okay, Shabir, thank you. Can you explain again about the if true question? Rajneesh, basically, Yatharth asked me that if instead of this if true, we had if false, then what would have been the answer? And I told you, if in such a question, you're being asked if false instead of if true, then you would have chosen an option which would have strengthened the argument, because you would have then two negatives in the question. If false is one negative and undermine means weakening is also another negative. So negative, negative, positive, right? Because you have if true in this statement, you'll be choosing an option which is actually weakening the argument. Clear, Rajneesh? If true just means that he wants us to assume all these options to be true. And after assuming these options to be true, he wants us to choose an option which is weakening the argument. Clear? Rajneesh, if you're being given if true in the question, then you have to choose an option which is being asked to you in the later part of the question. Right? So let's say in this question, if you were being asked, which of the following, if true, would strengthen the passage's main argument, then you have to strengthen it. So sorry, guys. Don't laugh on me. Huh? Don't laugh on my voice. I hope you don't have any questions now. Any doubts, any questions? I'll just remind you once again before you leave the session. Tomorrow, you're going to have an advanced class. 8 to 9 p.m. So in case if you want to attend the session, please mail on the support ID.